I have loved dogs since I was very, very young. There's a video of me, and I'm 3 years old, and I'm in Salt Lake, and every time a dog walks by the window, I turn to my mom and I say, "Guau, guau, guau, guau." Guau, guau is the sound a dog makes in Spanish. You see, I'm half Latina. My mom's from Bogota, Colombia, that's where I was born, and my dad was from Salt Lake. So when I was 4 years old, we moved to the DC area into an apartment. And I started with, "Mom, I want a dog." And she said, "Honey, we can't have dogs. We live in an apartment." Never mind that we could have had a dog. She just would have had to pay an extra $25 a month, which she wasn't willing to do, never mind the responsibility of a dog. So then, in about 6th grade, we moved into a house here in Fairfax, and I started again, "Mom, I want a dog. I want a dog." And she was like, "Honey, we can't have a dog." So Dad had been separated from Mom and had come to live with us again, and we one day got a phone call from one of my mom's friends saying, "Do you want a dog?" And I said, "Yeah, I want a dog." And she said, "There's a dog waiting for you in Maryland." So Dad and I go up to Maryland and we meet Sweetie. Sweetie was a Beagle Terrier mix who was found on the side of a road in Maryland, unfortunately with 8 buckshots in her, but luckily found by the wife of a veterinarian, so nursed back to health. And it turned out that Sweetie didn't really like other dogs. So when we got her, we were told, "You can have her, but you can't have other dogs." So I finally got my dog. At first, Mom wasn't very happy about this, because you see, in Colombia, dogs are working dogs. You don't have them in your apartment, they're not your best buddy, they're out on the farm, they're out herding and they're helping with farm things. And so she was like, "This is gonna be an outside dog, right?" Well, it started in the garage, and eventually we let the dog inside the house, because that's what you do here. And so a few years later, so this was 6th grade, so this is now, say, 9th grade. And the dog and I have become best friends. I have a disability called spina bifida, and so that means that I've had lots of surgeries. And so one day I had a surgery, and my mom calls and says, "This dog is missing you terribly. She's howling at your door. We don't know what to do." And I was like, "I'll be there as quick as I can." And when I came back, this was the best dog ever. She got on my side and she refused to leave it unless they were bringing me the pain meds. Very good dog. Smartest dog you will ever meet, because she learned to open every door in the house, including sliding glass doors, French doors, bathroom doors, yes, while you were using them, bedroom doors, and her coup d'etat was the refrigerator door the day after Thanksgiving. So I get home the day after Thanksgiving. Mom had gone back to work. She didn't get the day after Thanksgiving off. And I come home and there's turkey all over the kitchen floor and the dog with the tail in between the legs. And I'm like, "Oh, Sweetie, what have you done?" And I said, "I can't tell my mom that the dog did this, because if I tell my mom the dog did this, the dog is gone." So I said, "What do I do?" I said, "I gotta call my mom." So I called her and I said, "Mom, I ate all the leftover turkey. And oh, by the way, I broke a dish." So the next day, I figure before I go to school, what do? I said, "Okay, I gotta put a chair in front of this refrigerator, because a 25-pound Beagle Terrier mix is not gonna be able to move a chair from the refrigerator." Wrong. I come home and there's green beans all over the kitchen floor and the dog with the tail in between the legs. So I call my mom and I'm like, "Mom, I ate all the leftover green beans, and oh, by the way, I broke a dish." "Okay, honey, all right." So the next day, I'm like, okay, she's a 25-pound dog. So I said, "I'm gonna put a 25-pound bag of sand on top of the chair next to the fridge, because she's not gonna be able to move it." Wrong. I come home and there's mashed potatoes all over the kitchen floor. So I call my mom and I say, hey Mom, I ate all the leftover mashed potatoes. And oh, by the way, I broke a dish. So at this point, like any good parent, Mom's kind of freaking out just a little bit. And so by the end of that week, I had an emergency appointment with a psychologist. And the psychologist says to me, hey Alex, what's going on here? And I said, it's not me, it's the dog. And she goes, don't you think you should tell your mom that? And I said, no. If I tell my mom that, this dog is gone. And so the week after Thanksgiving is always the concert at Wolf Trap for the holidays. And it's a family tradition to go. So Mom and I had gone, and we're coming back from that holiday concert. And I'm racing in the house just to see what this dog has done. And we had taken out some ground beef earlier in the day, and ground beef is all over the kitchen floor. And, so Mom turns to me and goes, Alex, what's going on here? And I said, it hasn't been me eating all that food, it's been the dog. And she said to me, I don't believe you. So then it gets to be about Christmas time, and Mom catches the dog in the act. And that is why we have a lock on our refrigerator door for years after the dog died.